This is the Law Career Development Office session of our virtual Admitted Students Day. Thank you for coming in for this again. Assistant Dean for Career Development, Alyssa Fio, is here, and she has a number of students available to speak about their experiences. Dean Fio will have some information, provide an overview, and then questions for the students and career services. So with that, I'm going to step away, be watching it, but I'm going to stop my video and give it to Dean Fio.
Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Alyssa Fio. I'm the Assistant Dean of the Law Career Development Office. I'm here with three amazing students, Dean Augustine, Curtis Paul, and Sumbul Alam. You're going to hear from them in about 10 minutes. I'm going to run through a quick PowerPoint to just kind of give you a brief overview of our services. I could talk for hours about what we do and how we support students and how much I love working with our students and our employers. I'm going to ask our students just to mute yourselves for the moment, and I'm just going to share the screen and get us started. Okay, you can all see it, right? Okay, great. So want to just share with you who we are, what we do, and how we support our students. We are the Law Career Development Office. Our mission is to help students define their professional goals and achieve them. As you can see, this is the list of the folks who I work with. There are 4 other counselors who work with me, in addition to our amazing administrative assistant, Shirley Skiles. If you've been in our law school, in our wonderful, beautiful law school, our office is on the first floor, right behind the glass elevators. We're centrally located. Students tend to pop in and see us for a number of reasons, career-related and not. One of the questions that came in, I think, before this presentation was, are students assigned to a counselor? And also, do you have to make an appointment or can you just stop in? As to the first question, no, you're not assigned to a counselor. We really do have a team approach. We all come with different experiences. I came to this position 2 years ago after spending, I can't believe I'm saying this, but 27 years practicing, starting in big law and then moving into public interest. My areas of work are mostly disability, voting, and education law, but the other staff have experience in commercial litigation, also in public interest, in law firm recruiting, also in big law and government. So we come with a wide breadth of experience that we really enjoy sharing with our students. Some students come to law school knowing exactly what they want to do. Other students really have no idea, but they know they want to be a lawyer. And what we do is to work with them to try and figure out what are some of their professional goals and how to attain them. One of our main missions is to make sure that students graduate practice ready. And we feel really confident that our employers know that students graduating from UB Law School have the practical and professional skills to get running right upon graduation. And we're really proud of that. And how do we make students practice ready? Well, we give them those opportunities, those legal experiences, in addition to the amazing academic classes and support that you would receive. There are experiences in internships, externships, and clinics. You're going to get a presentation after this about clinical experiences and externships, so I won't talk about those. But some of the students on the panel today have had those experiences and can talk about them. And we have a really robust professional development programming. And then we have the amazing support of our faculty, staff, and alumni. And I do want to just mention for a moment our amazing alumni resource. This is the strongest alumni base that I've experienced in my years of practice and being a student myself. Our alumni really want to see our students succeed. They come back to be on panels, they serve as mentors, and we really thank them for that. So what are the services we provide to students to ensure success? Here's a long list, and it's a very true list, and probably there's more things on here that I haven't included. Career advising is first and foremost, and that we do individually. We also do some group programming, but that's really sitting down with students and talking about what they're interested in, what skills they want to develop, and kind of figuring out a game plan. Resume and cover letter review. We work really closely with students about your resume and your cover letter. I mean, we edit resumes to the comma, making sure that that comma is not bold when it shouldn't be, making sure that you have no typos on your resume and cover letter. And we've heard from employers that our students' materials are on the whole very strong. Mock interviews is one of the most powerful tools and supports that we provide students. Even if you have a professional background and you've worked prior to coming to law school, through mock interviews, we talk with you about your elevator pitch. We go through some of the tough questions, those behavioral questions that you might have gotten in past interviews. Tell me about a time when you failed. Tell me about a time you've had a conflict with a colleague and how you resolved it. And those are some really challenging questions. And we work through those questions with students to make sure they're really prepared for their interview. Career programming, as I mentioned before, and that's panels with alumni talking about substantive areas. I know that was also a question of what are some of the examples of panels that we do. So this past spring, we did a panel on plaintiffs' firms. We did a panel on business of law, how you run a law firm, what does it mean to be a first year associate. We had some really great panels on substantive areas of law. I was excited to do one on education law, but unfortunately that got canceled given our current situation. We have a very active online jobs board where our employers post jobs, our alumni post jobs, and even alumni who graduate use the jobs board when they're looking for a position. We have career fairs, public interest career fair. We partner with DC law schools and University of Maryland to do a public service career fair, which is just great in terms of government jobs and public sector jobs. And if you haven't had a look at our website, we encourage you to do so. We have our really dense career handbook, which answers every question, including how do I write an email to someone I met at a networking event. We have weekly communications through our LCDO weekly handbook, weekly record, and we also have networking opportunities for students throughout the semester. Here's some of our programming examples. I won't go through each one because it would take up too much time. But we have our 1L Explore summer program, which I'm going to explain in the next slide. We have mentor programs with, as a 1L, you would be matched with an alumni mentor. We even have a mentor program for students who are interested in clerking with a judge. We have networking, law firm networking series where firms invite our students to breakfast or a lunch or a reception to get to know the firm and get to know the attorneys who are in the firm. We have lots of diversity programming and opportunities. We help students get prepared for applying for those opportunities. Our alumni also come back and do practice interview evenings for students so that students can do a mock interview with an alum to get ready for whatever interview they have coming up. We also have on-campus interviewing, and that is in the fall and the spring. And in the fall, it's for our rising 2L students. In the spring, it's generally our 1L students. We have career fairs, and we also have this amazing judicial reception where judges from all over the state are invited to UB, and we have a great turnout. And that's when students get a chance to meet judges directly. They, I think, Kadeen, you met your judge maybe at the judicial reception, and they get internship opportunities, externship, and postgraduate employment through that event. The UB Explorer Summer Program, you all might have heard about it. It's really a fantastic program. It's unique to UB. It started 26 years ago. And 1L students don't have to really compete for jobs. They're 1L summer. We want our 1Ls really focusing on classwork and coursework and really getting immersed into the law school community. And so this is a placement program. There's a judicial Explore program and an attorney Explore program. And students can decide which one they're interested in doing. We just had our Explore orientation yesterday, and we'll be matching over 100 students this summer. And even with our current crisis, our Explore employers are making sure that our students have an experience this summer. Many of our Explore employers are alumni, and they really help make this program a success. So let's go on to the next one. I also just want to mention the Pro Bono Challenge. We really do encourage our students to engage in pro bono legal work, and that's recognized through a program which we call the Pro Bono Challenge. The benefits of pro bono work is, of course, you're serving the community, but you're also developing legal and professional skills. You're growing your professional network, and you're also having an opportunity to explore other career opportunities. We have an alternative spring break program, and Symbol has participated in that last year, I think. Maybe Kadeen, you did as well, where we partner with legal service providers, and we can offer students really robust pro bono legal work. Unfortunately, this year we were so excited about our alternative spring break program, but it had to be canceled given the current crisis. But we're looking forward to launching that again next spring. At the end of the 3L year, prior to graduation, students are recognized through the Pro Bono Challenge based on the number of hours that they have served. I just also want to mention a program that we did this spring, which was the Professionalism Certificate Program. We know that our students are practice ready when they graduate, and that's because they really do focus on those professional skills, those soft skills that employers want to see. And so we had over 100 students participate in this voluntary training program. The focus was on legal ethics, technology skills for lawyers, and the business of law. We want to make sure our students have the skills related to Word, Adobe, Excel, so that they can hit the ground running when they start practicing. So now I'd like to turn it over to our student panel. If you guys would like to unmute mute yourselves. So I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about the experiences you've had over either during the school year or over the summer. And Kadeen, do you want to start?
Sure. So again, hello everyone. I'm Kadeen Augustine, and I am a 3L at UB, sort of almost an alum. You said, what do you want me to share?
What your experience was your first summer and your second summer. Okay. You had Kadeen had summer fellowships, and so Kadeen, if you could just mention what you did each of those 2 summers.
Okay. So this summer of my 1L, I actually participated in the Explore program, where I was placed with a judge, and I interned with a judge in the Circuit Court of Baltimore City. And I also had another experience that same summer where I interned with the Disability Rights of Maryland. And I actually was awarded an MLSC grant for that. And I think UB Spy is on here, right? So they can go into that. Okay. Yeah. My second summer, I was a public interest fellow for the Office of the Public Defender of Maryland. That was a fun experience. And I also participated in a number of other, actually, you know what? 1L summer, I also TA'd for the Charles Hamilton Houston program at UB. And I also was a research assistant for a professor.
So you were very busy. So yeah. When Kadeen talked about those summer fellowship opportunities during her 1L summer, she mentioned MLSC. That's the Maryland Legal Services Corporation. So we have summer fellowships that are funded through UB Spy, which is UB Students in Support of Public Interest, and also through the Maryland Legal Services Corporation. There's some other fellowships that are available to students to explore public service. The public defender position Kadeen had was also through a fellowship that's unique to UB. So, Symbol, how about you? Can you tell us about your first and second summer? You'll be graduating in May as well.
Yeah, I'm a rising alum. I'm Symbol. I'm finishing my 3L year as well. I'm a little bit of an older student, so I was doing union organizing prior to coming to law school. The LCD knew my background and placed me my first year at the litigation department at the EEOC. The mentors I made there, I still stay in contact with. I talked to a couple last week. It's really great to get feedback, especially in the middle of this crisis, as to like what the market looks like, what I should be doing next as a graduate, and things like that. When we were in school, I would frequently visit the LCDO and just like talk about everything and anything. They're always helpful. They're always there. Kadeen is also always there, so I would also talk to her. And it's just like a really beautiful network of people who are there to support you and a community to grow with you. I have so many friends who went to Georgetown, who went to GW, and regret the decision because it was so alone. It was such an alone experience. They didn't have people, their career development offices weren't as robust. They didn't have people who truly, honestly care about seeing you develop as a person, as a lawyer, and as a colleague. And I love that about this school. Second year,
yeah, what did you do second summer?
Second summer, I worked at Ballard Spar, which I will be working at hopefully when I graduate. It was really amazing. I wanted to do immigration when I walked in here, and I'm leaving doing housing. I don't think I would have seen the growth that I would have had if it wasn't for these experiences. So I'm really excited about what's my future.
And Curtis, how about you?
Hi, everyone.
You're a 2L, so you're you'll be with us next year.
Yep, 1 year left. So hi everyone and admitted students. My name's Curtis. I'm a second year student. So my first summer, I worked at the Maryland office of the Attorney General in the Civil Litigation Division. And I found this summer internship not through Explore, but through some of the other resources that the career office provides. Simplicity is a job posting site, and once I was introduced to that, I checked it every day and read those little email updates that a lot of people may ignore, but you never know, you might find your next summer job.
Please don't ignore them, yeah.
So that was my first summer, which was a great experience. Like Sumbul said, I still have a lot of those same relationships from my first summer, and I stay in touch with the attorneys who mentored me then. After the AG's office, I kind of kept up the pace and went right into a internship during the semester with the United States Attorney's Office in Baltimore, and that was also in the Civil Litigation Division. And then after that, I just finished a clerkship at U.S. District Court with Judge Paul Grimm in Greenbelt, Maryland. And then this summer, I will be going to Cramon and Graham, a litigation firm here in Baltimore. And I can confidently say that all of these experiences I found because of my relationship with the career office, and not just the resources that they have, but their professional guidance. Because so much about your law school education isn't just about learning the substantive law, but it really is about learning the legal community and understanding all of the different sides to it, and all the people and the faces and the avenues that you can go down once you become a law student. Because as soon as you become a law student, that's when these doors open for you. And I really recommend taking advantage of it, because like Sumbul was saying, the career office here at UB really goes above and beyond to make sure that we get connected early and stay connected with the employment opportunities after graduation.
So can you all speak to what you think was one of the services that we offered that was the most helpful? I don't know if any, I can't remember. I think Kadeen, you've done mock interviews, I know. Curtis, you have. Simple, I can't remember if you have.
My first year, I think I did a few.
You should do it before you graduate.
Probably a good idea.
But can you just speak to what are some of the services you think were most helpful, and what would you recommend to students coming in? What recommendations would you have for them in terms of our services and using Law Career Development Office?
I can start. I really enjoyed the seminars that the LCDO put us on. There was one particular on federal clerkships. It's always alumni who come in and they are willing to share their information, content, like if you need to talk about this later, if they'll review like writing samples, look at your cover letters, things like that. So especially in places where it's super intimidating to apply, you don't know what you're looking for or how to go about the process. There's so much help to kind of guide you through that. And there's always an interesting panel, and with panels also comes food. So I love like that whole experience, honestly.
How about you, Kadeen? I know you've done practice interview evenings through BALSA, right?
So I've done practice interviews. I've had my resume and cover letter reviewed, shredded, rebuilt, you name it. I would say the one service that really touched me the most from the career development office would be the career advising. And like with the LCDO, you cannot experience career advising without building a relationship with the advisors in the office. They are very much committed. They're all very much committed to getting to know you, learning your past, your interests, and things of the sort. And they usually find a way to guide you without telling you what to do. It's like informed decision making. um, they definitely help, but I think what I value the most is the relationships that I've built through what started as career advising.
Great. And how about you, Curtis?
I would like to agree with what Kadeen said. Having the one-on-one advising and just talking to someone who is so knowledgeable about the legal profession and job opportunities and how to get them is really just a great experience. It's so valuable. I learned so much from talking to everyone at the career office about how to plan my career. That really has been the most valuable for me. But also the events that the career office sets up are always opportunities to meet new people and new attorneys. And the more that you go, the more that you sort of learn about yourself and what you're interested in. And you never know, you could run into someone who then sends your resume or sends your email to someone who's looking to hire. This is just part of your career now. I mean, you need to be involved here, and the career office provides those events for you.
So we have a few. Oh yeah, go ahead, Simba.
Okay, I'd like to add one thing. I remember when I started working at Ballard's Bar, LCDO set me up with an alum who also used to work at Ballard's Bar that could give me a lot of information about like office culture, because that was my biggest concern walking into big law. Is like, I've never done corporate work before, and how to like fit in those places and how to act or what the etiquette is. And it was really helpful to have that advice before walking in the door.
Great, thank you. So we're just going to turn to a few questions. One of the questions is, can you talk about how Explore overlaps, intersects, or doesn't with paid opportunities? So the great thing about Explore is that you're only required to do 2 days a week for 8 to 10 weeks. So that allows you opportunities to do other paid positions as well. The other thing that we do is we're really flexible, maybe a little too flexible, but we allow students to put their Explore application on hold. So they can submit an application, express their interests, their practice areas, their geographic interests, and then put it on hold while they might pursue other paid opportunities. And if those come through, that's great. Then we just, your Explore application is closed. If they don't come through, then we follow through on your Explore application and we place you. Another question that came through was, how has the virus affected jobs and interviews? So, we're in an uncertain time, and I should have said at the onset, I hope everyone is well and your families are well. I know it's a very uncertain time for all of us. I am so proud to say that from the Explore employer perspective, our Explore employers, many of whom, if not most, are alum, have showed up. They are willing to make sure that our 1Ls get a legal experience, whether that's remote or in the office or a truncated, shortened period of time. So that's been really solid. There are some other opportunities that have disappeared over the summer, and that's just a reality. But I feel pretty confident that our 1Ls and 2Ls are going to get legal experiences. With regard to the market generally, we all don't know what's going to happen. But I will say that UB has always been in a very good position to kind of weather a recession, so to speak. I wasn't here during the last recession, but as I have learned about how we kind of got our way through it, UB has a lot of strengths to work off of. First of all, as I said before, our alumni network. Our alumni want to see our students succeed, so they're going to make opportunities available. Secondly, a very large number of our graduates go into clerkships, and I know I didn't mention that earlier, but we have probably a third of our class is going to be going into state clerkships. We've been noted that UB is ranked nationally in terms of our state clerkships, and we're really proud of that. And that insulates our graduates to some extent. They will have something when they graduate, and then from there go on to another job. One person asked Kadeen and Sumbul if you don't mind saying what your postgraduate plans are. So Sumbul, I think, mentioned that she's going to be working at Ballard Spar in the housing division, right?
I don't think my division has been determined yet, but I'll be working. The firm is real estate based here.
Okay. And then Kadeen, how about you?
So I'll be clerking in the circuit court for Baltimore City.
And Kadeen met her, connected with her judge at the judicial reception, which is a great time where you get to interact in a really nice informal setting, meet judges, and then applied formally, went through that hiring process, and we're really proud that she's going to be moving on there. Curtis is a 2L, so we'll see where he ends up. Someone also asked about mock interviews, and during this pandemic, if we're doing mock interviews through video, and we most certainly are. I've done quite a few in the past few weeks, and we also do them by phone. It's really an incredible tool, and really encourage students to think about that. One student asked to describe the scope of your work done during your internships and how UB's support services assisted in carrying out your duties.
So,
Jeff, were you going to answer that? I guess not. Okay, yeah. So Sumbul, do you want to talk about some of your internships and what you worked on?
Sure. I think LCDO, also the library, really provided a lot of like research guides on how to go about looking up things, how to use different search terms, how to better use Lexis. Also at the school, there's a lot of different trainings on the research databases and how to use them the most efficiently. That's the biggest thing, especially if you're going into big law, you want to make that as cost efficient as possible. The LCDO was definitely there if I had any questions about like how to approach somebody or how to talk about an issue I'm having in my research, when to communicate those things so I don't seem like I'm like, don't know what I'm doing, because that was my biggest fear. But I think the scope is very different depending on what you do and where you go into.
Curtis, do you want to talk about the AG's office, what that experience was like in the summer?
Sure. So your first semester of law school, you will start to learn how to write like a lawyer. And then as you move into your second semester, you'll learn a little bit more. And then when you get to the summer, the point is to learn even more. So that's what I did at the Attorney General's office. And a lot of the writing work is research-based. You're not at that point necessarily writing motions for submission to court, but you're doing the research for the attorneys. And really, I think what you learn from school is how to present that research and present your writing in a way that not only reads and looks good, but is legally sound and is professional. And the attorneys there at the Attorney General's office, you know, they all know that you're learning. And I think this is probably the same for every internship. You know, the internship program exists to educate you, and it really is just a continuation of what you learned at school. So you build the foundation during the semesters, and then you sort of build on top of that with your summer internships.
Curtis, were you able to get a writing sample out of your summer experience?
So my first summer experience, I had a writing sample that was a research memo, but for my first year, I believe my primary writing samples were from what I worked on at school. But in subsequent internships at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I actually had the opportunity to write motions for submission to U.S. District Court. And that serves as a great writing sample because that is a document that has been submitted to court. It contains legal analysis, and that's what employers want to see down the line. They, while research memos are certainly helpful and indicate your ability to write, they don't always indicate your legal analysis ability. So I got those writing samples at other internships. And I think now, after my time with Judge Grimm, I have about 4 or 5 from this internship alone.
Great. So we're going to run through just some other questions because I know our time is we're kind of getting to the end of our time. But one question, and Kadeen, you could answer this, is how long do judicial clerkships last, and are they contingent on passing the bar?
So judicial clerkships in the state courts are usually 1 year long. Most federal judicial clerkships last for a 2-year term, either 1 or 2 year term. As far as passing the bar, you do not have to be admitted to the bar to actually clerk for a judge. However, there are incentives for students that have passed the bar while serving on their term.
Thank you. That was perfect. There was another question about what interactions does the LCDO have with the UB Career Center for the rest of the school. I'm happy to say we work really well with them. We just did a joint program with them this week on LinkedIn, and we were happy to collaborate with them. Students who want jobs on campus interact with the Career Center for the rest of the university to get those positions. Last question I see here, and it's an important one, and I should have noted it, about evening students. For evening students working full-time, are there weekend internships, externships available during the summer? So for evening students, I want to say that when I started here about when I started here about 2 years ago, there was, evening students were trying to figure out how to make sure they were able to participate in panels, they were able to get work in clinic, and you'll hear about that in the next session. And they wanted to know how can they do pro bono opportunities. So we have really readjusted our programming. So most of our programming is twilight. When I began, I think a lot of the programming was at lunchtime. So we've done a twilight programming for mostly everything this past year so that evening students can participate. We've also tried to make sure that evening students have access to some of the pro bono opportunities. Many of the legal service providers do hold clinics during the weekends or evenings. So when we were doing this alternative spring break program this spring, we were excited that we had some evening opportunities and some weekend opportunities. For internships and externships, it is difficult. There are some legal employers who can make weekend internships available, and those are usually through the legal service providers. So I hope that answers your question. Any other questions before we wrap up? So what I do want to say is that we are a very open, accessible office. So if you have any questions after this presentation, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can always reach us at lawcareer@ubalt.edu. And we really would look forward to working with you in the fall and meeting you in person and having those one-on-one conversations and figuring out what your career goals are and making them happen for you. So good luck with you. Have a wonderful summer, and we hope to see you in August. Jeff, anything we didn't cover?
Well, first of all, I'd like to give a virtual round of applause to all of our students. Thank you for coming out this morning and participating in the panel. We hope that in the future, when we get back into campus, you'll be able to meet some of our great students and learn from their experiences. And I do want to say as well that Dean Fio and other members of the staff have some Zoom sessions with LCDO for admitted applicants that some of you may have attended. There will be some more in the future. So you can schedule those if you have any other particular questions for LCDO. And I think this is a good example of our students. They really care about their classmates. They really care about the university, the law school. They're really a tremendous group. And I'm sorry I'm not going to get to see some of them leave as they graduate personally, because you build relationships with them. So sorry, we're not going to get to see you guys. We're going to go ahead and end this session. We have the career